It's gonna be Eminem.
Let's go with Wednesday, May 24th. Hopefully you have submitted any tests that you owe me, since I keep updating and I still have kids who have not turned in a thing. I can't grade a thing that you don't give to me. You are welcome to check Skyward at some point, and if there is any grade that you turned in that I did not give you credit for, let me know, and I'm happy to try and give you credit for it. Today's shirt was from 2009. Again, it was a picture of me, which is older than most of you, I would hope, unless you're like 14, 15 in class.
I'm almost 14.
And then yesterday, the Globetrotters did win the Charger Challenge. We came in second, but it was not winning.
So close.
And yet we didn't. No! Computer! No! Pause.
It's a picture.
And we're back. Sorry, having button issues. Alright, we took pictures in this class, so we're good. Some of my kids were gone yesterday, so I did not get a chance to do it with them.
Is that?
And it probably is.
I can't see that far.
They should come up with these things called glasses. Alright,
I do have glasses, but I don't know where they are. I lost them.
that does make them tough to wear.
And I never wore them. Like, I hate wearing my glasses.
Today, so we have done me doing stories. Today is not a story. It's going to go a different direction overall. And this is one of the few times that you're going to see that I actually have notes for myself, and that's because, one, I have probably an hour and a half's worth of conversation, and we only get to have like a half hour, so I have to sort of pick and choose, which is also why I record each class period, because each class has a slightly different conversation, depending on sort of how things go from one class period to the next. And then the things I'll be putting up behind me are not really Brovi art, they're just quotes and stuff like that sort of help me get through all of today. I showed you guys this one already because you guys already got a chance. My other classes, I did not show them that one, so. Alright. So, this was partly the two things I started doing way back in the day was the story about me getting arrested shoplifting, and then today. Those were the two things that I started doing at the end of the year before I started expanding it to my other stories. I hate the end of the year. I enjoy teaching. I enjoy being in the classroom. This week becomes emotional for me because I know that there are many kids that I will never see again. And I am not wired as a person to be somebody that cares and then just writes a person off and never thinks about them again. It's just not how my brain is set up. One of the issues with how I am is that kids come back and talk to me on a regular basis, which is good. And I've had a lot of 7th graders come back and talk to me this year, which will be a conversation we'll get to in a minute, and 8th graders and stuff like that. But part of it is seeing what goes into kids' lives, which was not a thing I was prepared for when I started teaching. I figured teaching was just standing in front of the room and talking about English and making kids smarter. When you go to teacher college, they don't talk about connecting with other humans or trying to care about people. That's just not a thing that's part of it. So it caught me off guard when that became a thing I did. So when kids come back and talk to me, I have kids who often will come back and tell me good things in their life, but more often it's kids who come back and tell me struggles in their life. And I tend to be that trusted adult that kids talk to. It wasn't a thing I set out to do. It just seems to be a side effect of my personality. And I've realized that for most kids, 7th grade is your last year of, I don't think innocence is the right word, but it's the last year where most kids get to be blind to some of what happens in the world around you. 8th grade, a lot of your worlds will be opened up when you start to see how other kids' lives are. And a lot of kids' lives are really screwed up. A lot of kids at our school don't lead happy lives and are not on good paths. And I did not realize that when I started teaching. And I don't want you guys to have a painful future. When you make me care about you, which is what you've done, I want you to do better. I want you to have good things happen to you. And I know that's not necessarily going to happen. So that was why I started telling stories at the end of each year. Because I wanted kids to see that bad things can happen and you can recover from it. Because you're going to have bad things happen. You're going to be dumb. You're going to get in trouble. You're going to screw up. Whether you like it or not, it's part of human nature. Even if you're the best kid and you are honor society and you have straight A's, you're human. Humans mess up. And so it's going to happen. Messing up is part of life. What's important is how do you deal with that mess up? When you screw up, do you let that thing control who you are, or do you let it make you stronger in the long run? The stories I've told you over the last 3 days are honestly to build up to today. I want to earn your trust for today's conversation. I wanted to open my heart so that you see what made me who I am, so that I could talk today and make an impression on you for it to have weight. For some of my classes today is the last time I get to see them. Today's the last conversation I get to ever have with those kids. Luckily for you guys, I at least get to see you for a little bit tomorrow, and then we get to spend time tomorrow during field day, which is going to be awesome, and I look forward to it. It brings me up to a good mood. But I don't get to teach you anymore. I don't get to have an impact on you. I don't get to change your life after today, and that's why I became a teacher, was to change your lives, to make you better people than when you came into my room. I don't think English is that important. I think you becoming better humans is important. Whether that be from making you follow rules in class, to do Simpson sheets, to standing in my room, to B points, my goal was to make you find a way to become a better person. So I tell stories so that you know that I have gone through struggles. What you also need to understand is I am the most normal person in my family, which should tell you a lot about my family. That I am held up like on a pedestal in my family as like what everyone in my family should live up to, because I am considered the normal one, because I'm not addicted to drugs and I've not been in jail, and the fact that I don't have like all these issues that other people in my family do. And it always surprises my family when I tell them, I'm not normal. Like, this should not be your baseline for what normal is. I enjoy being different and abnormal. I've come from a rough home life. It wasn't awful. Like, I loved my mom and dad, but my blood father, the man who was my dad when I was born, abandoned me when I was 6 and just left. And I've never seen him since. In 40-some years, I have no idea. And this is the first year ever I actually found out where he lives. And I am considering going and seeing him this summer. A man I've not seen in 40 years. But I grew up with just my mom and my stepdad. My grandparents were alcoholics. Both my grandma and my grandpa. And when you're a kid, you tend to think everyone's home life is like your home life. And it's human nature, because it's what you've grown up with. You assume everybody grows up under those same circumstances. For me, I assumed everybody came from divorced households, because my household was divorced. I assumed everyone had alcoholic grandparents, because mine were alcoholic. I assumed that any extended family you had were drug addicts, because all of my extended family was drug addicts. And it wasn't until I got to late junior high, early high school, and really started like paying attention to my friends' lives, and I realized that's not how everyone's lives were. I remember my best friend Eric, and he was talking about going over to visit his grandparents, and I was like, I'm sorry. He goes, why are you sorry? And I'm like, well, it's evening time, so they're probably gonna like be yelling at you and stuff. He's like, why would my grandparents yell at me? I'm like, well, because they're probably drunk. He's like, my grandparents aren't drunk. I'm like, your grandparents aren't drunk? I'm like, my grandparents are drunk all the time. He was like, dude, that's not normal. And I was like, ah. And it was that thing of realizing other families aren't like your own. I had abuse from an outside family member that I had to deal with for like 10 years when I was younger. And so I know what it comes from to have struggles in your life. And when I was a kid, I hated it. I didn't like the struggles. It made me different. It made me feel awful. I had guilt. I had sadness. But it also made me who I am. And I don't think I would be as strong of a person today if I hadn't gone through that. Because part of it is whenever I have kids come in and talk to me after school, I can inform them that I understand what you're going through. And I don't understand what every kid goes through, but I know what it means to come through hardship and stuff like that. Sorry, I have to look at my notes sometimes because my brain gets a little fluttery. I pay attention and I listen a lot. And part of it is, like with you guys this year, I know a lot of you guys come from pain and heartache, probably more than you think I know, because I learned when I was a kid to listen more than I talked. And so I listen when kids talk in the hallway, and I listen when teachers talk. And I have discovered more about some of your past than I thought I would, and realized how much struggle some of you guys come from. Part of struggling is school's not always important for a lot of kids, because when your home life sucks, it's hard to care about school. And I know I have kids here whose home lives suck. I have kids who have abusive parents, because I've had kids stay after school and talk to me about abusive parents. And part of what hurts me is the kids who come and talk to me who aren't looking forward to summertime. Because kids are supposed to look forward to summertime. And I don't know if you guys realize that there are kids around you who dread summertime, because it means they have to spend time at home. And their home is not a happy place. And you have to realize when a kid lives in a home that's not a happy place, where there's abuse, where there's unhappiness, where there's sadness, it eats at a kid. And it's not an easy thing for kids to deal with. I've had many 7th graders this year come and talk to me after school who have been school bullies in 7th grade this year. And it's interesting for me to be the person that kids talk to, where I have both the victims talk to me and the bullies talk to me. Where I have kids come in and say, I hate this other kid because they torment me and make my life awful. And then weeks later, I'll have the bully come in and sit in front of me and be in tears talking about how awful their life is at home and how they don't know how to deal with it. And when you have a kid who deals with getting hit at home or being verbally abused at home, it's more than a kid should have to deal with. Kids should have to have a happy life. When you're 12, 13, 14, home should be a happy place. Home should be a place you go to where your parents tell you they love you, and they give you hugs, and you get to have dinner with them, and they tell you that you are the best thing in the world, because that's what parents are supposed to do. And if you have a home like that, you need to understand that it's not what everybody has. That there are kids sitting around you in this class right now who don't have that, who go home to parents who yell at them, who don't tell them they're the best thing in the world. And when you're 13 and you go home and your parents are not good to you, it's hard to handle that. It's hard to process that. And that gives kids pain that they don't know how to handle. And when you're 13 and you have pain you don't know how to handle, you lash out and you're mean to other people, because sharing your pain makes that pain easier to carry. And so when your parents make you miserable, it's hard to carry that burden. And so those kids will lash out at others. One of the toughest things you can do, and one of the toughest things I've learned to do as a teacher, is to be nice to the people who least deserve it. The people around you who are awful to you, who are the ones who make you want to do awful things, need your love the most. The kids in my classes who need my guidance the most are the ones who push me away the strongest, because they're not used to having kindness around them. People wear masks as a metaphor. People don't want you to see what's inside of them because it's painful and it's scary. I wear a mask quite often. The version of me that you see in front of the classroom, where I am outgoing and love attention and post my face everywhere, that's honestly not my true self. I am a quiet, reserved, shy person.
Good morning. Any seventh grader that has a name that last name that ends with or begins with A through D, please bring your iPad to the library with all its parts. Thanks.
Was that the last
D.
name with A through D?
D.
I thought she said. Is it what it starts with?
C, D. Okay.
No, it's what it
She
ends
said
with.
A through
Yeah, I was judging on
I
that
thought she said A through Z. I'm just
one. That would be all.
I was like, why would she even say that? No.
Sorry, masks. So what you see with me in front of you is a mask I put on for teaching, because I know that being a quiet, shy, reserved person does not make for a good teacher. And so I need to be outgoing. And I've realized there are a lot of kids who do the same thing. There are a lot of my students who don't want other kids to know what they go through at home. And so they mask it with either trying to get in trouble in the classroom or by trying to be extra happy and outgoing in the classroom, or any number of things, because they try to put forth the version of themselves that they want to be. Now, I will tell you, I am a happy person. That part of me is not a mask. I'm not an angry person. I never yell at my own kids. I have not in decades ever called a kid dumb or talked down to a kid, because it's not what I believe. Even those of you who go to Struggle Town and lose B points, I'll never call you dumb, because I don't think you're dumb. You might make poor choices, but there's a difference between your choices and who you are. And so your choices may very well be dumb. But I've also realized after 24 years of teaching, you're 13. You are supposed to be dumb. You're supposed to make dumb choices. This is the age where you do it. You're supposed to figure out things around you. But here's part of the issue also. You need someone to yell at you. You need someone to punish you. Being punished is not a bad thing. Being punished is a good thing, because when you are punished, that is someone's way of telling you that they care about you, that you are important to them. Because punishing someone, now, I don't mean the extreme. I don't mean beating a child. That's not punishment. But I mean holding someone responsible for their choices and saying, you did a dumb thing, there is a consequence for what you did. That is good. That means that someone cares about you. It's why my kids in Struggle Town, all the way to the last day, I keep making them follow those directions. Because whether you like it or not, I care about you. And so I force you to keep following those directions. What I have come to understand is I have students in my classes whose parents don't give them consequences, whose parents don't punish them. When they don't turn in stuff or when they get detentions, they don't have a parent that says, you have made a poor choice, you need to change your actions. For some kids, I am that adult that holds them responsible for their choices. I am the adult that says, I know you can do better. If you are in one of those homes where you don't have a parent that holds you responsible, and it can be any number of issues. It could be your parents are going through a divorce, your parents are fighting, it could be a single parent, it could be that there's health issues, it could be any number of reasons why adults do what they do. And sometimes things slide by and parents choose not to hold you responsible. Two things for you. One, I will always hold you responsible. As long as you keep coming and talking to me, I will keep asking about your life. And I will keep trying to keep you on the right path. As long as you let me keep caring about you, I will keep caring about you. But also, life has given you a challenge where you now have to step up and you are going to have to parent yourself. And that sucks because you're 13 and you shouldn't have to parent yourself. You should be able to play video games and run around outside and not have to worry about things. But that's not how life works. Life is not fair to everybody. For some people, life sucks. For some people, life has dealt you just a horrible hand. Whatever it might be, divorce, single parent, sickness, cancer, something in your family where you have to step up and become older than you should have to. You either have to step up to that challenge or buckle underneath of it. And you either let that challenge crush you or you rise above whatever that challenge is. And I know it's not easy, and I know it takes strength. And that's one of the things I try to offer for kids. When you see 8th graders coming back and talking to me, it's because of both how I ran my class and today. Because some kids need that extra support of someone to care about them. And that's partly why I'm here, is to care about you guys. Have you guys ever seen me be mean, angry, yelling at a kid? I hope not. I try not to, but you have to realize I have those emotions. As much as I make fun of myself being an emotionless teacher robot, I'm not. I have every emotion that you guys do also. And the Kyvorb side of me, the one that you see on the back of my shirt, the little devil horn thing, was when I was first starting to teach, I did not have good control of my emotions. And I would snap in class, and I would yell at kids, and I would make kids cry in my class because my words could cut deep. And I realized it wasn't the person I wanted to be. Hang on. You're good.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
So, is your bus completely full?
I don't think so. I think we have a few seats left over.
Okay, because I think there's 9 seats in the orchestra bus, 3 seats in band bus. I'm trying to place 13 kids.
Okay.
And so, just trying to figure
Let me,
out.
I will check during the second period, and I'll send you an email.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you're fine. Not a problem. Yeah. We're just talking.
You're pretty awesome.
Hi. Thanks.
They all know that.
By the way, that's weird. Not her, but I'm sorry. Her saying I'm awesome, like, I have kids who say that to me. It's still weird for me. Like, I don't feel awesome. I don't feel what I do is special. I don't feel what I do is different. When other teachers or adults or parents or kids come up to me and they talk about how I did a thing that made an impression on them or changed their lives, like, it feels like you're complimenting someone for breathing. Like, I don't try to do these things. All I try to do is make people happy. Like, it's one of those things where I realized it's a choice we make in life. When I talked about the fact that I have emotions, I have anger, I have sadness, I didn't used to handle it well, and then I realized that how you choose to react to things is a choice that we have. You can't control what happens to you. You can't control the parents you got. You can't control the teachers you get. You can't control what happens to you. What you can control is how you react to it. And it took me a long time to realize I can control how I react to what happens to me in this world. When I have kids who misbehave, when I have kids who yell at me, when I have kids who don't do homework, I can choose how I react to that. I can choose to yell at them. I can choose to make them feel bad about themselves. Or I can choose to try and help guide them and realize that kids do things for a reason. The reason I tell you that, sorry, I keep checking my time. The reason I tell you that is I want you guys to realize that sooner than I did. I didn't realize it until much later in my life, how I could control who I was and choose my path in life. I see a lot of students who aren't who they want to be, who aren't the outgoing kid, or the popular kid, or the friendly kid, or whatever it is you want to be in this life. My question to you is, why are you not that? What is stopping you from being the version of you that you want to be? Is it you're worried about people making fun of you? And if it is, my answer is, who cares? People make fun of me all the time. I show up to school with painted toenails. I have painted hair. Not right now, you'll see them tomorrow. And I do things that make me happy and don't hurt other people. And I don't care when people say your dogs are ugly, because you choose what impacts you. One of the things that I figured out late in life is you choose whose opinions matter to you. And right now, as part of junior high, a lot of kids' issues is you have not figured out whose opinions are important. And that's what I want you to do. Who in your life has an opinion that you consider important? If some random popular kid in the hallway looks at you and goes, "Ugh, you're ugly," why do you care? Why do you give that person power over you? If they look at you and go, "Your clothes look like you found them on the street," who cares? Why do you let this person you don't care about control your mood and control who you are? Do what makes you happy. Do not worry about some kid that's not important to you. Figure out who's important to you and let them be the ones who guide your life. I have come to realize I play a different role in different kids' lives in 7th grade and beyond. For some of you this year, my room has just been a happy place where you get to come in and learn English, and you have a goofy teacher who makes you smile, and funny things happen sometimes. And if that's how my class was for you, awesome. That makes me happy. Like, that's the basic level of how my room should be. And there is nothing wrong with that at all. But I have also come to realize, for some kids, my room is a safe place where they feel they can come and not get attacked by other people, where they can come and not be judged. Because even though I might hold you responsible for your choices, I don't judge you. The number of you who have been in Struggle Town and left Struggle Town, and I never hold that against you, is because I don't judge who you are. It's not who I am. My guess is it's Kid Cameron come to the office. So it's up to you if you want to stay till the end of class or if you want to dip. You know your dad more than I do. That's fine with me. We only have like 4 or 5 minutes left. All right. So for some kids, my room is a safe place where they come to escape other teachers or other kids. For some kids, they come to my room because they need an adult in their life. And I've come to realize there are kids who do not have an adult in their life that they feel they can connect to. For others, I am that person that they feel they can talk to when they can't talk to anyone else and they need someone who will listen to them. What I offer to you guys is this, and you've probably seen it with some of my past students. My door is always open to any student that I've ever had. I will never turn away a student. If you want to come talk to me, you are welcome to. And the reason I say it this way is a lot of the kids that you see come back and talk to me as 8th graders were not kids that connected to me in 7th grade. They were the kids I yelled at on a regular basis. They were the kids who were in Struggle Town. They were the kids that drove me nuts and thought that I didn't care about them. I don't know which kids I'm going to connect with. I used to think I knew which kids had bad home lives and I could aim this talk at them, but I also realized I was stupid. I don't know. I can't see past some of your masks. I don't know which kids need me in different ways. So I open this up to anybody. Even if you are that kid that thinks you and I never had a connection, or that you are just some kid that I would never think twice about, you are wrong. Just because you didn't feel a need to connect with me doesn't mean I have not felt a need to connect with you. Whether it be next year, whether it be in high school, whether it be in college, feel free to reach out to me. I respond to every email I get. It may take time because I have these things in my house called children and they sometimes eat up my free time, but I will always respond to every email I ever get. And if you ever ask to come in and sit and talk with me, I will make time for you. I have made time for every kid who has ever wanted to come after school and talk to me. We will find a time to do that. And it's up to you. If you don't need to talk, that's fine. Not every kid does. But some people do. And it helps to have a person who will listen to you and not judge. My involvement in your life ends when you want it to. I will happily be someone that will speak to you, respond to you, talk to you, and guide you for as long as you want me to, until the day that you feel you are strong enough to step away. And in that case, I will be proud of you and let you guys do that. This year, I've really enjoyed this first period. First periods can be tough because we get extra time in the morning. It's a little bit longer than the others. It's how we start the day. And even though we've had goofy moments and we've had kids I've had to discipline, you guys have really made the year easy on me, and teaching is not always easy. And I had a rough year last year with my kids. I love them individually, but as a class, they were rough. And I told them that at the end of the year. And you guys made my life much easier this year. And as a teacher, I appreciate that one. Enjoy your day. Tomorrow's a happy one. Go out and choose your path.